Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel again. And I'm Michelle, coming to you with another video. And this time I want to be able to update you guys on where my health is right now after surgery. Now, I still use that walker, that infamous walker, but I don't use the walker for like walking around in my apartment or, doing things that I could do short distance. But I don't trust myself with long distance because I get winded and, my knees will get weak and that's only because, I'm still swollen. Sometimes I don't walk with my shoulders upright, but most times I am walking. Say for instance, sometimes I'm a little slumped over instead of being walking straight, and that's only because I'm still swollen up in here, and also in my abdomen area, because they took fatty tissue from my abdomen and they placed it in my breast to help build my breasts up. So not only am I still healing from the cuts that went from right here under my arm all the way to right here on this side, and it's two incisions, incisions from that are, and I can't move this arm as far under my arm like I could this arm, but it's hard for me to reach across my breast like that. But it's the incision is from there under my arm across to right here on my breast, but they had to make another incision going down a little bit on that side. So it's two incisions on this side and it's one on this side, plus in my abdomen area. Some people want to know what your abdomen is, but here in this area right here on that side, and right here on that side, and right here in my lower abdomen is where they cut me a little bit to suction out the fatty tissue to help build my breasts. So that's what makes me kind of slump over a little bit. I mean, before, when I showed y'all when I went to my 2-week checkup, I was in bad shape. But progress over the days, over the weeks, it helps me build my posture. So it was hard for me to get out of bed during that time because of, the anesthesia, which it was, it impaired my being able to get around properly, and the wounds were really fresh to the point to where it was more swollen than what this is right now. So I am getting around a little better, and now I can wear my clothes. I could put on, not all clothes, because some of the things that I have is a little bit too tight, but say for instance, this top here is loose, and I have my tights on. So the tights are a little, where it's not as constricted. Whereas before, it was hard for me to put on clothes. That's why I had to wear my pajamas to my appointment, because I was still swollen and I couldn't put on my clothes. I couldn't put this top on over my head because I couldn't reach my arms up. So now I could reach my arms up this far. If I reach up any higher, I have to tiptoe as I reach in order to get something. But I can't pick up anything heavy. So I brought these weights in to show you guys that I told my doctor that I was using, and see, I had to initiate some things and tell my doctor what it is that I'm doing so we can incorporate that into my recovery. So I told my doctor that I had weights, and I have these 2-pound weights that I'm starting off with. So I do these kind of exercises, helping build this part up and to help me with that upper body strength. So I do this in my bed, especially when I couldn't get up and get around. And these were the heaviest things to pick up and to even hold. So now I could pick these up with much more ease, but I still feel the weight of it all. And because before, having these was baby. I could, these I didn't want to use because they were so lightweight. I have 2 other weights like this. One is a 3-pound and the other one is a 5-pound. And before, I would always go to the 5-pound weight and do this with. But now I have to start off with the 2-pound weight all over again. So I do these, or I do this, or I'll do this. And then I try to do this, but it hurts up in there like that. So trying to do this one, it's still a lot of work on it. So I try to do this, and it's still a little work on it. Doing this like that, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. So I'm using these in my bed as I'm laying down and trying to build my upper body strength up again. So when I'm walking, I'll go to the stadium. Yes, I went back to the stadium. I am back there again. I went last Monday, but I take this walker, and that walker, oh, there it is. I take that walker with me to the stadium, or I'll take it with me to my doctor appointment, because those are long, distant walks that I have to do, and I don't trust myself taking those long walks and not have something to support me with. But I don't want to walk with that. I know I'm 68 years old, but I don't want to look like, okay, without me saying the word, I don't want to look old. I don't want to look like I can't get around by myself. I don't want anybody really helping me, but I know I have to have a certain amount of help. So I'm not gonna say that I won't use that walker, but I'm gonna try my best to exercise myself to where I don't have to use that walker to get around, because I don't want to use it. I didn't want to walk around with my pajamas on. I wanted to be able to put some clothes on, so I can feel my old self again. Now, when I'm laying around at home, okay, I'm going to put on my robe or my pajamas and walk around at home in my leisure. But if I'm having company, or if I'm going out somewhere, I want to dress. I want to put some clothes on and feel my normal self. I want to do my hair. I want to put on some makeup and get out and feel normal. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to look sick. Who want to do that? besides people who are actually sick and can't help it. When you're going through stuff, you don't care how you look, until you get well. If you need your ass out, you'll walk with your ass out when you're sick and you can't help it and you don't care what you look like until you become healthy enough. And when you become healthy enough, yeah, you want to present yourself in the most proper way that you want to, or like you did before you became sick or ill or whatever it is that's going on with you. So I just wanted to come on here and make sure you guys see that I am doing better and I am getting around better, and I am outside a little bit better, not outside a whole lot. I only go to the stadium. Somebody picks me up and takes me to the stadium and brings me home. When I'm at the stadium, I'm sitting on a stool the majority of the time at a cash register, working the cash register, for the most part. And when I get up, I always have somebody looking at me like, she got up. Miss Michelle, you better sit down. You better sit your little ass down. That's what they tell me. You better sit your little ass down. But I'm back outside doing those things. And, I haven't gone to the grocery store yet, but I plan on going to the grocery store soon so that I can, start stretching my legs and getting up and doing things instead of relying on somebody else to do these things for me. Because if they don't do it right, I want to get up and do it myself. So that's what I wanted to come on here and show you guys, that I am outside. I am trying to be outside little by little. I am working my upper body to give myself, but I got to work on this a little bit more because it hurt. I can't, and this here, I got to work on that a little bit more, taking this here back like that. I can't do that one, but I can bring it out to the front. Even with me doing those little things, showing you guys, the more I do it, the heavier those things get. And those are 2-pound weights. But I did show my doctor the weights, what I'm doing, and she said that it was good that I was doing that, and she saw my enthusiasm in trying to heal myself and to get well. And look, let me tell you this. Now, when I was homeless and, I had my surgery 3 months before becoming homeless, and when I was doing all that walking, what I was crying most of that time because I was homeless, and especially when it was raining and I was walking around in the rain, I was crying, walking and healing. And, but in the long run, what that showed me is that all of that walking that I was doing was healing my body. Even though I still needed more work done that, I didn't get done during that time. But my strength and my endurance was building up. So I realized that, when the doctor told me, make sure, she said, for me to walk. This is part of the discharge information that she gave me. She wanted me to get out of bed 3 times a day. Other than that, she wanted me to stay in the bed. But, after staying in that bed so long, your butt get to hurting, your back get to hurting, and, so it promoted me to do a little bit more inside the apartment. And then when I found myself doing a whole lot more in this apartment, I realized that I can go back to work. If I could do this at home, I can go back to work. But at work, they're having me to sit down on a stool. But all of this, all of that walking when I was homeless, it just showed me that building up your strength, your lower body strength, and your upper body strength is what helps you heal. Because if you just stay in the bed, you're not going to heal. Matter of fact, all of those old ways that you used to do things, you may lose some of that just because you are staying in the bed, or because you're not getting out, stretching yourself, or exercising your body. And your body, you lose some of that strength. And I don't want to lose that strength. I want to build on that strength. I want to get better. That's the reason for this surgery. The surgery was to get rid of that pain, that constant pain that I was having. And now that pain I've worked on that, it's time for me to keep transforming, keep graduating to the next step. Because you can't stay the same and expect to grow. You want to grow. You don't want to stay the same. And that's what living the vision is all about. Living the vision is about transformation. It's about growth. It's about being motivated to go from one level to another level. If it's the mindset, if it's your physical body, or if it's, whatever it is that you need to do in order to transform from the old way of doing things to a higher level of doing things. If you go lateral in doing things, maybe that's the way you are right now is not the greatest, and maybe that lateral move is better than where you came from. That's a transformation. But you want to grow from that lateral move higher. You don't want to go down low. Who want to go down low? I don't. I want to go up. I want to get higher. I want to transform into a better version of the me who was here previously, before the surgery. I want to be better, because that's the only way that I can feel good about myself, that I'm doing the very best that I can for me, in order for me to be able to do the things that I would like to do. And that's in growth. That's in transformation. You don't stay the same. You grow. And the more that you stay the same, there's a definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of insanity. I'm not crazy. I will go crazy. She will get sister. Not all the time. Sorry. But for real, totally honest, guys. You do not stay the same. And don't stay there forever. Get what you need and go higher. Transform into the better self, the better you that God gave you, So guys, like, share, and subscribe on this video, and share this video with someone else who may need to hear that, it's okay to go through pain, and it's okay to feel your feelings and get through it and go to the next level. Don't stay the same. Y'all take care, and I'll see you in the next one.